Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. So this is the ZT-0990. I am going to do a quick review on this because it is a knife that I don't really recommend, but I wanted to just point out a couple of things why. Now I do like the knife overall, but I just don't recommend it. Let's go ahead and get to why. Let's do some quick size comparisons. I'm not going to really go out on these too much. Griptilian, mini Griptilian from Benchmade, nice in-between size. Spyderco Para 3 and Paramilitary 2. All right. Again, I'm not going to go too much in depth with this one, but let me go ahead and talk about what I like real quick. I like the fact that they were going after the ZT-0999 as a as a design, as a knife that evokes that design, because that was a limited edition that is extremely rare, extremely scarce, very hard to get your hands on, really expensive and overpriced for what it is, as a result of its collectability, and therefore something that really people can't get their hands on and want to get their hands on. So this allows you to get your hands on it for a somewhat reasonable price. I don't love the price on it, but we'll get back to that. But there are some things that I do like about this. One of the things that I like about this is the blade shape. So first of all, the blade shape is basically a mixture of a spear point and the sort of the Spidey Chef blade. You can see it sort of has the beginnings of that upsweep, but the Spidey Chef has more of that upsweep than this thing does. And then you'll also see that it really evokes the spear point quite a bit. So this is an extremely popular knife. It's not my favorite, but it is an extremely popular knife. This is actually my favorite budget knife that there is. So it is definitely a blade shape that I like. And it's a great EDCable blade shape. I really do have to admit, I like the blade shape quite a bit. I like the blade steel. Blade steel's 20 CV. Obviously, that's going to be a good all-around steel. Super steel, same chemical makeup as M390 204P. Very, very good steel. ZT, usually does a decent job with it now. I think there was a history where they may not have done as good of a job with it, but I believe they do a pretty good job with it now. This symbol right here, by the way, is their in-house design symbol. Always sort of evokes a Star Wars sort of thing in my head, but that is their in-house design symbol. And again, I do like a lot of this stuff. The ergonomics on this is pretty good. Are pretty good. I would say it's about a 7 out of 10. Not excellent, but not terrible either. Really very solid, right? Very solid ergonomics. I like that quite a bit. The detent on this is excellent. Really flips out with authority, and is just, I really like flipping this out. It gives you a nice thwack, which is something I always love. All right, that's pretty much all I have to say on the good. And again, I like the design. I like the sort of floating bar back here. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the good. Let's go ahead and talk about the bad, because there is a lot of bad on this. First of all, this is $240. We'll get back to the price on this, but it is overpriced in my opinion. And the secondary supports that, because these are not great sellers on the secondary. You're looking more like 180-ish, maybe a little less on the secondary for these. Just sort of the nature of the beast there. By the way, I should mention that the carbon fiber and fit and finish on this are very good. That's one thing I didn't really cover. Next is the screws are T6 on this. Obviously you get T8 pivot, but T6 screws are, I mean, they're adequate, and a lot of knives have them, but they deform when you, they can deform your bits, they can deform themselves, so it's not great. By the way, if you guys don't have WeHub bits, you should. In any event, next thing I don't like on this is the pocket clip. Look, at $240, I want a recessed pocket clip. I also want screws that are recessed as well. Neither one of these things are on this knife. And on top of that, this has the ZT logo there, sort of screen printed or whatever you want to call that on the laser etched, whatever it is, on the clip here. I don't love that. I don't like the billboarding. I also don't like the billboarding on the blade. Too much billboarding on the blade. Why do we need to have Kai USA and 0990 and the serial number and CPM 20 CV? I mean, there's other ways to hide. Other companies hide these things in different places. They'll hide them on the flipper tab. You know, they can hide them on the back of the blade. There's lots of things you can do. So, you know, I don't love that. I do like the fact, by the way, that the show side is empty. That is nice, but the lock side, not so much. Next thing on this is the action on this is, you know, it's shake shot. It's not drop shot. It'll drop shot while you have the lock bar depressed, but it is basically shake shot. Contrast that with the ZT562 tie, and that is drop shot. It is a smooth, controlled drop shot, but it's drop shot. The bearings on this have been replaced, by the way, so these are not original bearings, and the hardware has been replaced. But despite the hardware being replaced and the bearings being replaced, the original version of this and the carbon fiber version, which I've had previously, all did the same thing. Meaning that they were drop shot rather than shake shot. I would have liked to see this one be that same drop shot action. Next is the frame on this back part of the frame here, and the metal on top of here. It's steel. It is not titanium. It's steel, and I believe the pocket clip is steel as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that's steel as well. Look, at this price, I just don't think this should be steel. This should be titanium at this price. A lot of people gave Buck crap for the Buck Onset when they came out with a steel frame lock at $180, right? This is the Buck Onset, right? So it's a steel frame lock. Look, Kershaw does steel frame locks on a lot of their knives on the really lower end budget, and you know, obviously Kai owns Kershaw too, but the really lower end is where you see the steel frame locks and the steel, you know, in the handle materials. The one exception to that I really like is going to be that Kershaw Highball XL. It's I believe that's steel also, but I really do like that knife. You know, that's going to be a way cheaper knife than this one. This is for the price that they're charging, they need to be doing titanium on this, or at the very least aluminum, which I know Kai doesn't do a ton of, but they do some aluminum with the, you know, the Link and the and some of the other ones. I think the Dividend and everything like that. So they do enough aluminum that if they're not going to do titanium on it, which ZT does pretty much regularly, then they should be doing aluminum. So I don't know why they went with steel. It also makes the knife as a whole a little bit heavier. Maybe they did it for balance. I didn't even check. Yeah, I mean, the balance point is behind the pivot where you'd want it to be, where your hand is. But even so, you know, it's just it's just they don't need the steel. They can counterbalance it with other, you know, metal backspacer, right? Something else. So that's not great. Next up, so the backspacer, I believe, is I believe it's like a G10 or something. I don't know exactly, but it's got zero tolerance up top. It's really unimaginative, the backspacer, and you know, I think it's kind of cheap looking, honestly. A little cheap looking. Don't love it. Next up, this hole is. I mean, look, I know the original one had that sort of carbon fiber stuff in the middle. The 0999 had the carbon fiber in the middle. So maybe it wasn't meant to do anything, but where this is located, look at this. The access to it is really limited, and the detent makes it hard to thumb roll out. You can, but it's not fun. And even worse is you can't really Spidey flick this. I am a pretty good Spidey flicker, like very good, and this is extremely frustrating. This is extremely frustrating. I do not like the fact that this is basically a tease. I mean, that hole there is basically a tease. And I know I'm going to get that's what she said in the comments, but whatever. In any event, Yeah, so that's another bummer here. All right, so where does this sort of sit in the market, and why don't I recommend it? Mainly because, look, if you want a budget version of the blade, you can get a really nice spear point blade for under $50 or around $50 in the CJRB Centros. You can get a cheaper version in G10. This is the micarta version with contoured handles, and you know, you can get that for pretty cheap. Here is the Dylan Mallory Designs Forest. This is a new knife. It is, I believe it's sold out right now, but I think they may do another run of them. But you can see the, you know, similarity in the blade shape and the blade design and everything else. Now this one has, and again, I think this is not American made. I think this is probably Chinese manufactured. But you know, look at the carbon fiber on this, right? The carbon fiber on this is excellent. The fit and finish on this is excellent. You've got a titanium clip here, which is really nice, milled titanium clip. You've got really, really good bearing action, and you're able to flip it out easily. You know, it's nice. It's a little bit shake shop, but a lot smoother than that one. And yeah, I mean, it's still shake shop, but it is a lot smoother than the ZT-0990. And I just think if you're going to spend the money, now obviously if you want to buy American, you can't buy this one. But if you're going to spend the money, this is $175 and this is $240. I mean, come on, right? So that's not a great look there. Frankly, also, you know, it's not that much more to go ahead and buy a ZT-0562 tie. Are they two completely different knives? Yes, they are two completely different knives. But if you don't have one of these and you're thinking about picking up one of these, grab this one instead. It's another $30 or so, but it's well worth it. And you can find them probably on the you can find these probably on the secondary for good prices here and there. So you know, keep that in mind as well. By the way, if you're looking at either one of these knives, you can look below at the DLT affiliate link. DLT does sell zero tolerance, and they should have both of these knives. They'll come in and out of stock, but they should have both of these knives. All right, so yeah, I mean that's really the issue. Look, I mean this is DLT exclusive Griptilian, which I think they're sold out of now. But look at the carbon fiber on this. Excellent carbon fiber, right? M390, similar blade steel, right? This is $200, right? So I just think that, again, this is overpriced for what you're getting. Not super impressed with the value here. So that's why I don't recommend it. But you know, it is if you've been wanting a 0999 and you haven't been able to get one, and you want to check out the design, look, it's worth picking up, especially if you're going to pick one up on the secondary market. If you're going to buy one new, use the link below. But again, it's not my cup of tea, and it's not something I would recommend at the price. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciate the honest reviews. If you like the review, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this knife and whether or not you'd buy it. And if you have had it, what your thoughts are on it. Thanks so much.